Welcome. We are going to have a fast session of what occurs when we cut a three-dimensional object or slice it. This is called a cross section. First of all, with a three-dimensional object, this is the base, and there are two of them on this cylinder. Okay, we also have got a square, pyramid, and a rectangular prism. We are going to cut them both parallel to the base. So in this case, the bases are here, parallel would be here, and look at the resulting shape. We are also going to cut them perpendicular to the base, so that would be a line right here. Perpendicular means 90 degrees to the base. So we're going to go ahead and start with the rectangular prism, and it's a little difficult to determine a base on a rectangular prism. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. I'm going to call this square end, the base, and I am going to call this long, so this would be the two bases between my fingers. I'm going to cut it with dental floss. I'm using Play-Doh and dental floss if you'd like to repeat this at home. And I am going to cut straight down with my dental floss all the way through. And when I pull it apart, you can see that the resulting shape is a rectangle. If I was to smush my rectangular prism back together, and I then chose to cut it, needs a little more smushing here, guys, sorry. I'm now going to cut it parallel to the bases being these two square ends. I'm going to make a prediction, and I want you to make a prediction about what the shape of this cross-section area is going to be. Okay, this is not a difficult concept, but it can be a little vocabulary heavy. So I am seeing that I have cut it, and yeah, it's not quite perfectly square, but you can see that the cross section is a square. We're going to move on now to our cylinders. So I am going to cut this cylinder parallel to the bases. Again, the bases are the circles at each end, and I'm going to cut it parallel. I'm going to try a different technique with my dental floss, trying to get a better cut. So I'm going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to squeeze it very tightly quickly. And as you can see, the resulting cross section, this face right here, is another circle, and it matches the base, which was circular. Okay, so I'm going to set these two pieces here, and we're going to compare that. I am now going to cut this cylinder. Yeah, it's a little bit not quite perfectly round, but it's a little shorter, so it's going to work. But I've got the bases are on my fingers. I'm going to cut it perpendicular 90 degrees to the base, and I'm going to do that right now, squishing down, and I'll pull this the rest of the way through. And interestingly enough, this makes a rectangle. So if I'm cutting a cylinder perpendicular 90 degrees to the base, I get a cylinder shape. The last two shapes, or the last two objects, are two matching square pyramids, and it's going to be the same for any pyramid. If I'm going to cut one of them perpendicular to the base, and on a pyramid, the base is the part away from this point. So there's a point here for a pyramid. I'm going to cut this first one perpendicular. I'm going to cut it into the base. So as I cut that into the base, with some difficulty apparently, trying not to smash my Play-Doh shape. Okay, so I've got this pyramid and I've cut it. The resulting cross section is a triangle, which is rather the shape I see if I look perpendicular to the base. When I cut this pyramid, I get this triangular shape. So I'm going to now take this last pyramid, and I'm going to cut it parallel. So it's resting right now on its base. So I'm going to have to touch one point, but you can see I'm going to cut parallel. Okay, so I am going to cut down this way, and down's not a great description, but I'm going to cut parallel to the base of this. So I'm going to cut by pulling the dental floss through and deforming the pyramid a little bit. Now, when I take this cut section off, I get another square. It didn't cut very squarely. I might want to try that again. So if I was actually to cut squarely to that, but I did get a square shape. There, go a little bit better cut. You can see that this left a square here, and I've got a new square here. So when I'm cutting parallel to the base, I get the same shape as the base, whether it's a pyramid or a prism. When I cut parallel to the base, the shape matches the base. If I'm cutting perpendicular to the base, the shape matches that sort of silhouette of this. Thank you very much, and I look forward to hearing from all of you later.